So, children, we are going to do the last poem, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, by Adrienne Rich. Here, as you see, we have the poem is all about Aunt Jennifer. She could be one particular aunt of the writer, of the poet, or she could be any woman, right? लेकिन first two stanzas में Aunt Jennifer ही बोल रहे हैं, तो let's assume that she is one particular woman who is the aunt of the writer and of the poet, and she's not a very confident woman. Okay, so Aunt Jennifer, the woman we are talking about here, tigers means she's embroidering figures on the screen. Prance means walk proudly, and screen here means panel on which she is doing the embroidery of tigers. Panel क्या होता है? There are two rings, children, always in those two rings. When you are doing embroidery, one is kept beneath the piece of cloth, one is on top of that particular area of the piece of cloth, so that the piece of cloth becomes stiff, and it can be very easy for the people to embroidery. So she's doing embroidery, and what has she embroidered? Tigers. Tigers who are bright, who are shining with confidence, of yellow golden color. Dengians means animals living in a particular, the residents of that forest, and world of green means forest. So they means the embroidered, or and the embroidered tigers. They do not fear men beneath the tree. So apart from the tigers, what has Aunt Jennifer embroidered? She has embroidered a green forest where there are tigers, and then she has embroidered that there are men, human beings, who are beneath the tree again, that she has embroidered. Now they means tigers. They pace means walk. They walk in sleek means dignified. You know, when you see the tigers, you see that they have a lot of strength, and they are very fearless and all, but they are not bulky. They are very sleek, dignified, beautiful. Chivalric means very confident, and again certainty means very confident, lot of confidence. Chivalric can be brave also, like a, like a knight. And certainty means confidence. So what is the writer trying to tell us in this stanza? That the poet is expressing her inner feelings. Okay, she is embroidering tiger, who is full of energy, and it's fearless, it's moving freely around the bright greenery. But in actual life, the aunt is living a life of sub being dominated, submissive. She's submissive to her husband's command. Her acts are dominated by him, and she fears him constantly. So the patterns of the free and fearless tigers, which she is embroidering, they reflect her inner desire to live a free and fearless life. Like that tiger, the tigers are say graceful, and they are elegant, and they are bright. But the life of the aunt is not all that beautiful. So she's embroidering a piece of cloth. It could be a tablecloth or a wall hanging. She's showing the tigers who are jumping up and right all around the fabric. They are of bright yellow color. The dense green forest background hai, and they are moving like fearless and proud citizens of the forest. Now, here again, I'll tell you there is a contrast between Aunt Jennifer, who is very fearful, जो डरी हुई है, and her tigers, जो बिल्कुल नहीं डरते, they are fearless, right? So the tigers look elegant, shining, full of gentleman's grace, which the aunt is not, right? Now, second stanza, Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool. Aunt Jennifer's fingers means slim, tender. You know what fingers are, of course. Part, a part of body. Fluttering means shaking. So when she is embroidering, her fingers are shaking through her wool. Her means whatever she is embroidering. Okay. Whatever she is embroidering, Whenever she wants to pull the you know needle out, her fingers are fluttering, they are shaking. Even the ivory needle hard to pull. Ivory here, children, means a very soft, ivory is a very soft thing, metal, if I can say metal. No, it is a soft tool, right? So ivory is very light. ओके, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो नीडल जो थी बहुत हैवी थी इसलिए उसके हाथ कांप रहे थे या वो नीडल पुल नहीं कर पा रही थी, नो, ivory is very light, and with needle is something with which she is embroidering. Okay, so with something that she is embroidering is needle, and she finds it very hard to pull. Hard to pull means to drag, to take out. आपको पता है एम्ब्रॉयडरी में जब करते हैं तो आपको एक तरफ से एक क्लॉथ के नीचे से नीडल बाहर निकालनी होती है, एंड देन ओनली यू कैन पुल यू नो द नीडल आउट ऑफ द क्लॉथ, और तभी डिजाइन्स बनते हैं। लेकिन एक आइवरी नीडल है जो बहुत लाइट है, उसका कुछ वेट नहीं है, इवन दैट द आंट इज फाइंडिंग डिफिकल्ट टू पुल, उसके हाथ फ्लटर करते हैं, उनके हाथ शेक करते हैं, बिकॉज वाई, because every time the massive means lot of weight of uncle's wedding. Weight means burden. Weight here means burden. And uncle's wedding band means uncle is her husband here. Okay, wedding band uh, denote marriage, and wedding band is the sign of symbol of marriage. Okay, the rings that the Christians exchange during their marriage, that is the wedding band, sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's tiger. Sits means control here, right? Control. Heavily, very heavy. Why is it heavy? Not because the ring बहुत heavy है, नहीं, क्योंकि it is burdened. Why it is heavy? Because it has uh, burden of her marriage. Her marriage is not a very happy marriage. So it is uh, not a very pleasing marriage. So she is always scared of her husband on Aunt Jennifer's hand, right? So now let's see what we have to pull through in this stanza. Um, Fingers of Aunt Jennifer were trembling while holding the thread and needle of the what she's using for embroidery. It was very difficult for her to pull the needle. Needle is of made of ivory, which is a very light metal. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि वो needle बहुत heavy थी इसलिए उनको pull करने में मुश्किल हो रही थी, नहीं, उनको pull करने में इसलिए मुश्किल हो रही थी because whenever she would see her finger, उनकी फिंगर पे जो मैरिज रिंग थी, जो वेडिंग बैंड था, जब वो उनको देखती थी, एवरी टाइम शी वुड लुक एट दैट यू नो रिंग, दैट वेडिंग बैंड, और उनको क्या याद आता था? अपने हस्बैंड की एट्रोसिटीज, अपना अनहैप्पी मैरिज, सबमिसिवनेस, अपना सबमिसिवनेस, वो फियर जो वो अपने हस्बैंड का है उनके ऊपर, उनका अपना लैक ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस एंड स्ट्रेंथ, उनका अपना फियर, right? So when her fingers are shaking, it does not actually mean that they are shaking because of anything else. It is only shaking because she cannot protest against the bad behavior of her husband. तो वो इतना डरी हुई हैं कि वो ना तो प्रोटेस्ट तो नहीं कर पाती हैं, एंड जब भी वो उस वेडिंग बैंड को देखती हैं उनको सब याद आ जाता है, शी इज रिमाइंडेड ऑफ एवरीथिंग दैट हर हस्बैंड इज डूइंग टू हर. सो her husband does not approve of anything. जब वो एम्ब्रॉयडरी भी करती हैं, उनकी हॉबी है, वो भी वो अप्रूव नहीं करते, तो वो भी डर डर के वो एम्ब्रॉयडरी कर रही थी कि कहीं वो आ ना जाए, एंड देन शी विल बी punished for pursuing her hobby, right? So she's trembling while she's embroidering the piece of cloth, and she describes the wedding ring, which was given to her on her wedding day. She says that the ring is a kind of burden for her. She is so much tortured by her husband. जो एक रिंग, ब्यूटीफुल वेडिंग रिंग जो एक गिफ्ट होता है हस्बैंड का अपनी वाइफ को, वो उसके लिए बर्डन हो गया. Okay, she has faced so many difficulties in her married life that the ring that she has is described as a heavy band, not wedding band, but a heavy thing which is on her trembling fingers. So this means that the ring is associated with some bad experience. वो बहुत टॉर्चर होती हैं, बहुत उनके साथ मिसबिहेव होता है, वो बहुत atrocities सहती हैं, and because of her husband's dominating nature, right? So this is about the second stanza. Or children, this is some, I don't think this is anything new to you. I mean, in a country like India, हम लोग बहुत बार ये सब चीज़ें देखते हैं. वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में शायद ये बहुत ज़्यादा प्रोमिनेंट अभी तो नहीं होगा, बट इन अ कंट्री लाइक इंडिया ये सिनारियो कोई आपके लिए नया नहीं है. वेयर द वाइफ इज स्कैर्ड ऑफ हर हस्बैंड, वेयर द वाइफ इज living in fear of her husband, where the wife is, you know, uh, tolerating the atrocities of her husband. This is not a very new scenario to you all. You know what I mean by this, you know, you all know what we mean uh, by this scenario which the poet has presented before us, right? So I will come to the last stanza now. when the when aunt is dead. Now here देखो, यहाँ पर aunt Jennifer नहीं बोला उन्होंने, उन्होंने क्या बोला? aunt. ठीक है. So here we are not talking about any particular woman, we are talking about women as a community. Okay, like say all women. She's talking about all women, not one uh, particular Aunt Jennifer, right? So when the aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie. So terrified hands means her situation, you know, bad situation. I can say her bad situation will lie still ringed with ordeals she has mastered. Ringed means controlled. Okay, ordeals means all the bad experiences, problems, or the problems that she is facing in her lives. Mastered by means ruled by people, ruled by other person. It could be her husband. Here we are assuming it could be her husband. But the tigers in the panels that she has made will go on prancing proud and unafraid. So the tigers in the panel, which tigers are we talking about here? Here tigers is men. Okay, panel means where she's embroidering, her embroidery that she has made. Made means created or embroidered. Will go on prancing, proud and unafraid. Prancing means moving. Uh, proud here means very confident, not ashamed, right? Like Aunt Jennifer says, I am ashamed of myself because I have to suffer so much. But the tigers with the men, they are not ashamed. They are so full of confidence, unafraid, without any fear, without any fear of anybody, anybody. So this poem, in this stanza, we again talk about the dominance of men over women, how bad it can be, how dominating they can be, right? So now the poet is saying that even when the aunt is dead, okay, she will continue to fear her husband. Her frightened hands indicate the troubles she has had, right? So all the problems that she has had as a woman, now are some problems are problems that have been shared by all the women in the society. ठीक है? यू कैन इन द पोएम आप इजीली सेंस कर सकते हैं उनकी डिजायर फॉर फ्रीडम, फॉर फियरलेसनेस, जैसे उन्होंने अपने टाइगर्स डिजाइन करे हैं, राइट? शी सेज दैट इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर women to achieve this kind of a freedom during her lifetime. She will attain it only after she is dead, and she will be tied up even after death, even after her death. The ivory irony of her life is that she will be tied up with the shackles in the form of her husband's wedding ring. This ring is the sole proof of the tortures which she had faced from her husband. On the other hand, there are tigers which have been designed by Aunt Jennifer, who depict her desire of living a fearless life. See, here in this stanza, the tiger here means the men, okay, who are going to live going on living fearless life. उनको किसी चीज का डर नहीं है, वाइफ चली गई है या women are डेड मेंटली भी हो सकता है यहाँ पर, सिर्फ फिजिकली नहीं, ठीक है? आप किसी को इतना डरा के रखते हैं कि वो उसका ब्रेन डेड हो जाए, वो फिजिकली डेड हो जाए, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बिकॉज दे थिंक दैट दे आर द सोल कस्टोडियंस ऑफ द सोसाइटी। उनका हक है विमेन के ऊपर एट्रोसिटीज करना, तो कुछ भी हो जाए, इवन आफ्टर हर डेथ, even in her grave she will go with that ring only, and the people, the men in the society, they are not going to be feared by anybody. So ringed with ordeals here means the wedding band. Ringed with ordeals here means the wedding band, which symbolizes how handcuffed she is, what a slave she is, how scared and frightened she is, right? So उनकी डेथ क्या सिंबलाइज करती है? उनकी डेथ है कंप्लीट सबमिशन, राइट? ये मेल डोमिनेटेड सोसाइटी है, उनकी डेथ से इन मेल्स को, इन सोसाइटी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर डेड, इवन इफ यू आर डेड, आप आपने जो सारी उम्र अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स झेली हैं वो आप अपने साथ ले जाएंगे, बट नो बडी इज गोइंग टू बी affected by that death of the women, because actually this is a male dominated society. उन्हें किसी की किसी वुमन के सफरिंग का या उनकी डेथ का कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. दे आर नॉट अफेक्टेड एनी हाउ by the death of the women. So the massive weight of uncle's wedding band वो भी उनके साथ ही डेथ में चला जाएगा, which is representative of authority, power of males, and जो मैट्रिमनी का सिंबलाइज करते हैं, ये वेडिंग बैंड मैरिज सिंबलाइज करता है, जो बाइंड करता है वुमन को फिजिकली और मेंटली भी, एज आई टोल्ड यू. नॉट ओनली आर द फिजिकल एट्रोसिटीज बट मेंटल ऑल्सो आर इक्वली इक्वली बैड. चिल्ड्रन, दे आर इक्वली बैड. आप किसी को एक थप्पड़ मारिए या उसको गंदी बात कोई बोलिए, इट इज वन एंड द सेम थिंग. सो इट्स नॉट दैट के पहले मारा और उसके बाद देन यू आर सेइंग सॉरी, यू आर नो, यू आर स्कारिंग, आप उसको स्कार कर देते हैं मेंटली भी. सो वेडिंग बैंड, matrimony, marriage, here is the burden for women, and she's not getting enough freedom to express herself because of domestic responsibilities, restrictions, weakness, her physical weakness, her mental suppression. So किसी को इतना भी टॉर्चर नहीं करना चाहिए, परेशान नहीं करना चाहिए कि whenever she sees the wedding ring, वो उनको अपनी रिंग देख के entrapment ही याद आएगा, राइट? जो उनको अपनी फ्रीडम नहीं याद आएगी, उनको फियरलेसनेस नहीं याद आएगी, उनको सिर्फ she will be remembering only the atrocities जो उनके साथ बुरा व्यवहार किया जाता है. That is all she is going to remember, which is a very bad state of affairs for any woman here, all the women, right? So Aunt Jennifer is exactly opposite, and of what she is embroidering, and she has a desire to break free of this, which she is not able to do. So Aunt Jennifer, even after her death, the ring will remain, but she will never be free. तो ये भी ring ये भी symbolize करता है कि ring तो हमेशा रहेगी. उसने उन्होंने ना कभी life में ना death में कभी freedom देखेंगे. But the tigers, the men, they are going to continue move freely in the society. They're not going to be scared of anyone. And this is what the poem tells us, right? It expresses the uh, it tells us the inner desires of women to free themselves from the clutches of abusive marriages and patriarchal society, which they are never able to do because of lot of bindings, lot of foundations which are there by the society to them. They are never able to make themselves free of those clutches, right? So this is all in this poem, children, and I have already given some summary and literary devices. I'm going to make a video on literary devices, एक एक device को explain करके, and post it by tomorrow or day after. For now, just read through the poem, see the explanations, and if you don't understand anything, please do get back.